Criminal to deliver the spoils of industry. Crimson are the rivers, bleed our grief into the sea. Slaves in seas of soot we drown. Come on down to London town. The cogs stay creak and the pistons pound. Come on down to London town. Steam train running on a reckless rail, speeding right up to the rising gale. Shovel harder 'cause we're on your tail. London's bloody cry. Steam train running on a reckless rail, speeding right up to the rising gale. Shovel harder 'cause we're on your tail. London's bloody cry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Homestead-Miami, live for the Country Road Sports Card 60. I'm in the booth with none other than Jacob Bell. Jacob, how's it going?
Going good, man. Happy to be back. Missed last week. You guys had a great race in Bristol, but definitely happy to be back here. Homestead, it's a mile and a half track. It's going to be super unique event for the late model series, and I'm looking forward to it. We also got Ryan Swan joining us up here in the booth for the first time tonight as our little third set of eyeballs. So, Ryan, how you doing, man?
Oh man, I am excited to be up here. We're at Homestead, a lot bigger track than what we're used to. So I've been tuning in to each one of these races the last couple of weeks. So I'm excited to see what we got here tonight.
Well, we're less than a minute away from qualifying here. Jake, we're set for 60 miles at Homestead. Typically we're in for 100, but tonight we're here for 60 miles. Now, tell us why we're only in for 60.
It's actually 60 laps, so I think that might be technically 90 miles if my math's good on there. But the 60 laps, I think Jim Thorndike and the admin crew just kind of put it together and made it a little bit shorter because the track is so much bigger. So just to keep the race lengths around an hour, get everybody out of here around 10 p.m. Eastern. So decided to shorten up the laps. I think this is the only event on the schedule that's not 100 laps. So like I said, a lot of unique things going on tonight and going into this event. Got a whole new setup that these guys are running as well. So it's going to be something to keep an eye on as practice is concluded. Matthew Robinson showing the way and winning the opening practice here tonight. And qualifying here is going to start shortly. And I'm anticipating a lot of action here in qualifying, Ryan.
Yeah, I see a couple guys on this list that really need a little bit of help. Every week we're seeing Matthew Robinson and I think the other one's Sebastian Taylor that's up towards the top of the board. You got to see a little bit more of improvement from I think Jacob York and Jeremy Knapp needs to get just a little bit more consistent. But some of these guys looking for a good qualifying run here today. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do.
Last week's winner, James Shanewolf, was sixth fastest in that practice session. And qualifying will stay the same. They still have 5 minutes to put down a lap and see what they can run.
I see James Shanewolf out on track in that number 1. Looks like we're right on board with somebody here who's already losing it on their qualifying lap coming to the green. Looks like it's the 25 of Jacob York. Gonna hit a quick little reset and get in a fresh set of tires on that thing and try to go back out there and run his 2 laps. We're right on board now here. Dawson Miller coming through turn 4. You see how loose it is for a lot of these guys about halfway through the corner, really fighting the handling on that race car as he starts his qualifying run.
Heard from the 56 of Dawson Miller that basically these guys can hold it wide open and these guys will be making probably a couple of pit stops. Ooh, you see he gets a little loose coming out too, yeah. He did say that the center of the corner, the car would jump out from you loose and it would be a handful trying to save it.
Oh, he's just like Dawson Miller.
There you see on the top right, Jeremy Knapp.
Fighting that car.
Oh, he's spinning. Yeah, he's spinning on the front stretch. Don't think he hit anything.
Gonna ruin his first lap, though. He'll have to reset for lap 2. We've got some guys making some times up there on the board. William Lancia right now is going to be your current pole sitter with a time of 37.207. There's the 37 of Cliff Mullins. He's done a really good job of improving every single week so far this season. His first lap's a 37.62. See if he can pick up here on lap number 2, as you see a lot of other guys clocking in some fast laps. 37 heading through 3 and 4. Looking pretty smooth, though, so far. Let's see what he puts up on the board here for lap number 2 as he's headed off of turn 4, checkered flag in the air for old number 37. A 37.301, so he will pick up on his second lap.
William Lancia also improves on his lap. He ran a 37.182 first of the 37.1s. We'll see.
Oh, and
Johnny Collier, the 33.
Shanewolf now, 37.166 for James Shanewolf. Johnny Collier on track now in the number 33. Believe this might be his first lap he's coming to the line to either conclude or yes, so that's his first lap. Obviously that lap time is just from getting reset, probably spun out trying to get his coming to the green flag. So second lap here is where Johnny's gonna have to really make up a lot of time.
I'll tell you guys something about James Shanewolf. You do not want him to get on a roll. From my experience with racing with him, once he knocks one down, he's hard to stop. He's gonna be a threat to be reckoned with for the rest of the season. You just watch.
Yeah, and Shanewolf.
I'll say he took the last 2 weeks off before Bristol, then he comes back and he just dominated at Bristol.
Collier here finishing his lap looked pretty smooth all the way around.
Not sure if we're having any technical difficulties or not, but Matthew Robinson continues to be one of the fastest drivers out there. He just puts it to the top of the charts with a 37.002. There's less than a minute left for Jacob York and Rick Donathan Sr. to put up lap times. Hopefully everything's okay with Jake. Right now, Matthew Robinson, 37.002. Currently pole, and alongside him on the front row is going to be Shanewolf right now with 37.166. Less than 30 seconds left. Don't believe we'll be seeing lap times from Jacob York or Rick Donathan Sr. Think that might be all she'll do.
Glad to see both of them back this week, too. I know York had some technical difficulties last week, and I think Rick Sr.'s taken the last 2 weeks off. So nice to see the car count back about where it was. I think we had this number last week. So glad we got a couple guys back though for the heat races and race tonight.
Yeah, Jacob York, he's been on like a streak of bad luck. It's bound for him to break that streak eventually, and tonight could be the night here at Homestead. But not going to put down a qualifying lap, neither him or Rick Donathan Sr., as the time has expired for drivers to put down lap times for qualifying. Hopefully Jake will be, hopefully he'll rejoin us shortly. As you see on your scoreboard right here, Matthew Robinson continues to be one of the faster cars. Tonight, he just posted a 37.002. That's good enough for pole position. And alongside him will be James Shinewolf in the number 1, in the number 2 spot. William Lancia is going to bring it home third for qualifying, and Ryan Twynham going to be fourth. And rounding out the top 5 will be Jeremy Rigney and Jeremy Knapp in the 20. And know we got some fans of Jeremy Knapp in the chat. Qualifying P6. Right behind him is Cliff Mullins qualifying P7. Dawson Miller qualifying P8. We heard from him earlier about his thoughts on the track. Johnny Collier going to qualify 9th in the 33, and Rick Ward Sr. going to qualify 10th. We may see the 11th through 14th spot. Once again, this is brought to you by America's Auto Auction of Western Michigan. Justin Lemke in the 35, going to be 11th. Edwin Morris Sr., 12th. And Jacob York would be 13th. Rick Donathan Sr., 14th. Those two did not put a lap time down.
Tell you what, Hunter, something to keep an eye on. Looks like this will be Matthew Robinson's 3rd pole of the season. 4th front row, well, if he gets it through the heat race. Also, he hasn't finished worse than 3rd this season, so it'll be pretty interesting to see if he can keep that streak alive and see if he can get another podium here at Homestead.
Yeah, I mean, he's been one of the ones to watch every week. Him and Sebastian Taylor, which I just realized he's not in the lineup tonight. So this is going to pay huge dividends to that number 40 team in the point standings, because it's either been Robinson or Sebastian Taylor.
Yeah, without him here, I fully expect him to pull away by a wide margin here in points, as he's already got a 14 point lead on 3rd place. So, no, actually, he's got a 25 point lead on 1st place or 3rd place. Sorry.
Oh wow. Yeah. So looking to see if the 40 can extend or continue to extend his points lead. Although, not sure if Shane Wolf is out of the picture yet. He did miss the last 2 weeks before Bristol, and he just came back and it picked up like he never left. He dominated, led about all of the race, and really just sent a message out to everyone saying that he's back and that he's not one to mess with.
Speaking of being back.
All right, Jacob Bell's back, everybody. Hopefully everything's all right on your end.
Yeah, computer issues is part of the problem of stepping away for a week, man. All of a sudden you come back, things don't want to work right away. But we got them sorted out. I think we're good to go for the rest of the night. As qualifying wrapped up there, looks like Robinson setting a quick time. I'm sure not a lot of people surprised.
No, one thing that did surprise me, though, Jake, is I'm looking through our starting lineup. There's no Sebastian Taylor at all.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. The 27, two-time winner so far this season, 2nd in points, not showing up here this week. Going to have to count on one of those provisionals probably to at least get some points, and I'm sure he'll be back next week.
Yeah, it's going to... I was going to say, it's going to pay huge dividends for Matthew Robinson to extend his points lead. And then the next one up in points is Jerry Glenn, 3rd, 25 points back. And then James Shanewolf, only 28 points back, even though he missed the previous 2 races before Bristol, came back and dominated Bristol. And it's kind of bounced back in the points hunt.
Yeah, well, you see how much the provisional really helps you, right? Because with the fields being so small here, when you're running, 14-car fields, the last place points being 15th place is still a hefty amount of points. So as long as you make sure you get your provisional in, like Shane Wolf did, like I'm sure Sebastian Taylor is going to do, you're going to get a decent amount of points and be able to keep moving on here in the season and in the standings. And like you said, Jeremy Knapp there rounding out the top 5. Then you got to look at Johnny Collier right there, 6th place in points, 2 top 10s so far this season, no top 5s through the 33, but he's one of those guys who I mentioned earlier. He just keeps getting better and better every single week.
Take a look at our weather presented by LoudEastTravelWorld.com. This is the Country Road Sports Car 60. Big thanks to Country Road Sports Cars for helping us out. Partly cloudy skies tonight, although the sun is going down. Air temp 77, the track temp at a cool 81, humidity 56, and once again, the winds from the north at 2 miles an hour. It's been like that everywhere we went.
It's the wind, man.
Humidity 56. How about that?
Yeah, that's kind of shocking to me. Being a South Florida native, man, that humidity, I wish it was 50%. It's 100% every single day.
Hey, that could be a sign tonight.
It could be for that 56 in Dawson Miller, starting 8th on the grid with 37.304. And we mentioned earlier on in the broadcast that we talked to Dawson Miller earlier to get his thoughts on the racetrack. He said that it's basically wide open, but the center of the corner is when he had his struggle. Ryan, have you been around this track in a late model?
I have not. Normally, late models are normally on smaller tracks. It's definitely going to be a swing, a change on this bigger Homestead-Miami Speedway, just to say the least. But no, in the other series, though, this track is probably one of the funnest ones. I know they updated it recently, and it's kind of changes up, but I really enjoy racing here. It's slick, it's hot whenever the sun's out, but it looks like we're kind of actually going into the night, so this should be pretty interesting. You know, they were really slick in practice and qualifying, so we'll have to see.
And the lights are coming on as the sun's going down.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Jake.
I think that'll help a lot with the handle of these guys as race cars going into the night. Track temp's going to keep dropping, getting lower, so that should help the track be a little bit more grippier for a lot of these guys. And another thing to keep in mind, too, is with the 2 heat races of 6 laps, I mean, every other track we've been to being a short track so far this season, those 6-lap heats go by pretty quickly. Well, tonight, lap times are 37 seconds, a 6-lap heat. I mean, that's going to take a little bit of time. It's not going to be, blink and you're done. It's going to be, a decent little run these guys are going to get before they get ready for their 60-lap feature event.
We should mention that the heat races are 6 laps and that they have not changed because this is the biggest track we go to at 1.5 miles. Still 6 laps, still no yellows, so if you wreck, you're basically screwed, and then you'll be starting at the rear. It's going to be interesting to see because, like you said, it's not just a blink of an eye and you're done. It's 37-second lap times. It might even be 38 seconds at one point. So going to be interesting to see how these drivers take caution or avoid caution or ignore caution before going into turn 1.
Yeah, no, that's a great point too. Is the tire fall off? Like you said, to get into the 38-second lap time bracket, I wouldn't be surprised. Everywhere we've seen so far with these late models, the tires have held up pretty solid considering the cars that they're running on. But here tonight at 1.5 mile track in a completely different setup, I really want to to pay close attention to the tires and how well they're going to hold up for these long green flag runs we're probably going to have tonight in the feature. And are we just going to want to pit for fuel, or are tires going to be a necessity?
That is true, and I did hear from Dawson Miller. He's basically our fuel in-report guy. He said that they could go about 30 to 33 laps on a tank of fuel, and that it burns about a quarter of a gallon. No, 3/4. Sorry, I'm getting this botched up. 1/3 of a gallon of fuel per lap.
Tell you one thing, a relief to some of these drivers, on these short tracks that they go to. If you do have green flag pit stops, you go multiple laps down, sometimes mostly 2, with the slower pit stops the late models have and whatnot. But this track, you should only go 1 down. And I bet that's a big relief to some of these drivers if there's a yellow or whatever.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, even 1 lap down is going to be pretty questionable tonight with the lap times being so much slower. In the pit road speed still being 45 miles per hour here tonight. A 37-second lap, you can probably get on and off pit road around 40 seconds. So it'll be close to going a lap down. But yeah, definitely not going to lose multiple laps. You're not going to have a lot of these guys trapped, 2 or 3 laps down, which on the flip side of things should make for a lot more competitive racing, because if we do get that typical caution towards the end of these races like we've had so far this season, well, we've only had 5 or 6 guys on the lead lap at that point, just from the fuel cycles and pit stops. tonight we can have all 14 guys on the lead lap with a possible green-white checkered attempt. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to add a lot of different layers to tonight's event. And another guy I just noticed we're not seeing at the racetrack here tonight, other than Sebastian Taylor. We're also missing the number 11 of Justin Reeves, who's had a pretty solid season so far. He's up there tied for 6th in points with Johnny Collier. He's not here tonight either. So another key, component of this late model series going to need to use a provisional.
Yeah, the two I see that are close behind him are Dawson Miller and Cliff Mullins. Both are in tonight. Mullins starting 7th, Miller starting 8th, so that's going to pay huge dividends to those guys as well.
Actually, sorry, Hunter. Yeah, actually, what I'm seeing is also along with Sebastian Taylor, 3rd in points. Jerry Glenn is not active yet, so that's pretty interesting.
So we're gonna have a big point shakeup after tonight's race. That's one thing that we will know for sure.
So Matthew Robinson is our points leader, and the next closest guy that's in this race is James Shanewolf. As we mentioned earlier, he just comes out of nowhere and leads every lap at Bristol. Gained 5 spots just from that one race, and he's right now listed only 28 points behind. And he's starting behind Matthew Robinson. So could it be a shakeup in the season as it goes on because of Taylor missing a race that Shanewolf takes over?
Just got a note here on our Twitch chat, actually, from the 37, I believe, of Cliff Mullins. He said the right rear tire is going to be key to this race, which is kind of unique to have a driver chiming in on the chat. But that's a pretty key piece of information to keep in mind, that basically he's saying the right rear tire is wearing a lot quicker than the other tires on tonight's car, which means that they are really running these cars sideways. So it's going to be important to keep an eye on that, and, keeping their cars underneath them and pointing in the right direction. That sounds like that's going to be an important thing to keep in that right rear, with as much or as little wear on it as possible.
We have a little over 3 minutes left before our heats of the night. Want to ask how everyone or who everyone thinks is going to win tonight.
Got 14 guys to choose
from. Put in the Twitch chat. We'll look at our. We have 14 drivers to choose from. Put in the chat. We'll see which one of you is correct.
We didn't. No, we didn't. I haven't really done too great. I think I might have picked Sebastian Taylor week 3. I think I got that one right. But other than that, I've been not doing so hot with my picks.
I was about to say, I honestly don't remember if I made a prediction or not. We have the top 3.
Top 3 spots. Yep. Well, actually, that's a great point you just brought up. That it got me thinking as well. Last week was the first week with no fast repairs, so tonight's their second week without having any fast repairs in these cars. So with a faster track like Homestead, I mean, these wrecks are probably gonna consist of cars getting pretty tore up. So with no fast repair, man, if you get any bit of damage to these things and you're not able to fix it right away, get that quick reset done, you're going to be in for a long night at a big track like this. So that's another thing to keep an eye on with these guys and how they kind of approach tonight's event. Ryan, I was going to ask you, man, what are you looking for in these heat races? Are you if you were in these guys' position, are you trying to bide your time in the heat race, see what you got with the car? Or are you trying to go out and get the best starting position possible? I mean, what would be your approach? Ryan.
What?
Jake was just
you guys were talking about making race picks earlier.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do anything. So I want to know who's off the board because I'm not going to do the NASCAR on Fox thing today where everybody took Kyle Larson and he still didn't win the race. So I'm not going to waste any time here. I'm going to just go ahead and wipe this guy away from everybody else. I'm picking Matthew Robinson for the win tonight.
Whoa. Let's get through the heat races first.
Hey.
How about that? That sounds fair, right? We'll get through the heat races, then do our picks on the starting grid for the 6th lap feature.
I feel like the guest host should be the first pick. I'm going to just go ahead and lay it down, man. I have fully confidence in that 40 car out there tonight.
We'll let you take the 40. That's fair. That's a good point. As the looks like qualifying and the drivers' meetings all finished up, as we got heat 1 in about 8 seconds. We're going to get the lineup for that and get these guys gridded up for the Miller Racing Graphics heat race number 1.
Alrighty, let's get it going.
I mean, we know who's going to be on pole.
Yeah. Here's our starting grid, presented by Country Road Sports Cards for the Miller Racing Graphics heat number 1. So Matthew Robinson's going to be your pole sitter, followed by William Lancia alongside him in row number 1. Row 2 is going to consist of Jeremy Rigney and Cliff Mullins.
Yeah, row 3, you got Johnny Collier in the number 33 car starting 5th. Starting 6th is going to be the 35 of Justin Lemke, and then rounding out your heat race lineup is going to be Jacob York in the 25. He will start 7th. He actually got DQ'd in his qualifying run from, like I was saying earlier, these guys were really struggling in the center of the corners. You get a little sideways, scrub the tires. iRace is going to DQ you because they're going to think you're trying to cook the tires up. So he got the black flag, and we'll have to start at the back here in Miller Racing Graphics heat race number 1, but they are on the track and pacing coming to the green flag here, Hunter.
Yeah, well, once again, big shout out to Miller Racing Graphics for sponsoring our first T-Race of the night. Miller Racing Graphics, your number 1 source for iRacing graphics, logos, and more. Get 50% off your first paint scheme at facebook.com/MillerSimGraphics. Big thank you to those guys helping us out. And Dawson Miller is in the second heat, so you'll be seeing the Miller Racing Graphics car in the next heat.
Well, you'll see a Miller Racing Graphics 25 starting 7th here in this one. And how about the Dogtopia, number 40, and Matthew Robinson up front? He's going to lead us down to the green flag here. It's been a while since I've been up here in the booth, so I'm going to have to let Hunter show me how it's done and call out this green flag here for heat race number 1.
All right, well, the pace car is bound to make the left-hand turn any moment. There it goes, a sharp left turn. And green flags flying. We are green for the Miller Racing Graphics heat race number 1.
Those guys up front, that first 4 really got a great start when you look at the back 3 guys compared to, how big of a gap they were able to build. Robinson takes a commanding lead out front. You got the 82 of Lancia trying to hold off Rigney. That's the battle for second as they exit turn 2. Single file through the first 4 spots.
Yeah, the front 4 really did get a good jump in, especially when you're the leader, because you're the control car. As soon as that pace car gets down pit road, it's up to you. You're the control car. You can go anytime you feel like it. And the 40 of Robinson went. And the 82, whoa, we got 3 cars spinning. Whoa. Lancia almost hit the tires going into pit road. So we mentioned earlier from insight from Dawson Miller that the center of the corner, the cars just jump out loose from it. We had about 3 cars sideways there going through 3 and 4.
Did you see the 37 of Cliff Mullins split right between 2 cars that were spinning there in turn 4? I mean, I want to take another look at that. That was about as close as you can get to getting right reared into the outside wall, man. Oh my goodness, was that close. And he's able to hang on still and run 3rd. Big advantage, though, for Jacob York. How about 7th all the way to 2nd in about a lap and a half for the 25 car?
Yeah, we're mentioning about the top 4 getting a good jump, and then Jacob York, out of nowhere, he just drives through everyone spinning out, and he places it 2nd right now with about 4 laps left, and Robinson puts up a 37.220, so he's already trying to pull away as fast as he can.
Yeah, you called it there, man. We had about 3 cars synchronized spinning going through turn 4, and I was going to mention right before we got to the corner that this was the first time we really are going to approach a corner with speed, because when you go down into turn 1, obviously you're not all the way up to speed. But once it got to 3 and 4, I figured, it was going to start breaking loose for a lot of those guys, and it did. But now these guys are kind of settled out. The tire pressure is built up in these race cars, and they're running some smooth laps here as we got 3 to go in heat race number 1.
Robinson put down the fastest lap, but then Jacob York did with the 37.134. He's trying to close in on that lead. There's only 3 laps left. Robinson about 1.5 exact, 1.5 seconds in front of Jacob York. He's got Cliff Mullins all over him, though, for the 2nd spot. Mullins running 3rd, then Collier running 4th right now.
I'll tell you what, guys, this place is electric. Over 46,000 people in the grandstands watching this super late model race, and they got Jacob York 7th to 2nd, looking for one of his best starts of the season.
Yeah, that's a good point. Not a lot of, good heat race results for Jacob York in that 25 car. He's kind of struggled. I think he won one of the heats in the first or second race of the season. After that, though, he's really struggled either, getting caught up in a mess or somebody else's, doing. But overall, man, if he can hold on to this one for 2 more laps, actually make it a lap and a half, he'll have a really good looking third place start in the 60 lap feature.
And we mentioned earlier that Jacob York, he always seems to have some sort of bad luck, whether it's in the heat race or the regular race or both. It's the bad luck streak's bound to break. We get the 1 lap to go here for our first heat race of the night. Matthew Robinson's just checking out.
Hey, let's talk about Matthew Robinson, though. I mean, he's putting on a pretty dominant performance here. In this heat, that Dogtopia machine is looking good off of turn number 2. He's running some quick times. How about a 37.2 on that last lap? I mean, that's about as good as you can get. That would have still qualified him on the front row just on lap time alone, as we got the One to Go Studios final lap coming through turns 3 and 4 for Miller Racing Graphics heat race number 1. Matthew Robinson is going to take the victory.
Jacob York with a very impressive 7th to 2nd place for the first heat race. And he does a little slide at the end.
Right.
That was pretty cool. I'll give it to him. Wait on the results to turn official. There we go. Matthew Robinson taking home the victory. Jacob York going to finish 2nd. Cliff Mullins 3rd. And Johnny Collier finishing 4th. Another consistent run for the 33. 5th place is going to be William Lancia. Then rounding out your field is going to be Justin Lemke and Jeremy Rigney, who went for a slide early on in heat race number 1 for the Miller Racing Graphics first heat of the night. So we move on now to heat race number 2 presented by Dogtopia.
Something that caught my eye there. These guys, like I think we mentioned earlier, 6 laps at a short track on heat races is pretty quick. That took 7 minutes to finish. This is much longer than a normal week.
Oh man, we are in for one treat. Here's the lineup for the second heat presented by Country Road Sports Cards. James Sheenwolf going to be your pole sitter for the second heat. Alongside him, starting second, Ryan Twynham in the 31.
Yeah, 3rd place is going to be Jeremy Knapp in the number 20. The Knapp Attack crew, I'm sure, tuning in and watching this one. Dawson Miller starting 4th in the Miller Racing Graphics number 56 car. Rick Ward will start 5th spot on the second heat here. Starting on the outside of row number 3 is going to be Ed Morris Sr. in the 14 car. He's looking for a solid night. And rounding out your field, the number 8. How about Rick Donathan Sr. down here in Miami, boys?
Tell you what,
he's ready for some action.
I've had a lot of experience with that 8. He has a hot rod on some of these tracks. He's trying to get his foot down for the late model series to see if he can get it done tonight.
I know we don't make in these heat races, but give me that number 8 of Rick Donathan Sr. I want it.
I was about to say, this pace car looks like he's about to, he's about ready to.
Gone.
The pace car driver is more excited than any of the drivers in the field.
He's gone. He is out there. They're going to have to catch up to that pace car, or else it starts going to get all messed up here. Where is he? Oh, he's actually on pit road, yeah. The number 1 is going to have to start this one from the pits to move the 20 of Jeremy Knapp. That's a good catch there, Harold. The 20 of Jeremy Knapp's actually going to be the pole sitter now for your Dogtopia heat race number 2. So tough break for Shane Wolf. But how about a good break for the 20 crew? Let's see if he can take advantage here and end up with a solid result here as the pace car is going to make that left-hand turn on pit road. Dogtopia heat race number 2 is underway. Green flag is out. Jeremy Knapp is on the gas pedal.
It'll be interesting to see these guys go through turn 3 and 4. Kind of like how it happened in the first race. Half the field seemed to slide sideways out, but then the rest of the laps they were pretty solid.
Wow, we got some tight racing. Look at that, 3 wide out of turn number 2. The 56 looking for the lead, and the 31 of Ryan Twynham's just going to go around both of them on the top side.
Twynham taking full advantage of it. Looked like Dawson Miller was going to have the lead for a moment. Right now he's underneath the Knapp for second, sorry. So he's running 3rd. Oh, and there's the 20 of Knapp sideways, and he spit out near pit road. He's going to keep it off the wall, but he's going to fall back a ton. And look at the 56 of Miller. He's keeping his foot on the gas, and he's all over the bumper of the 31.
56 is looking a little sporty here. He's on the back bumper of the leader here with 5 laps to go. And Dogtopia heat race number 2. Twine's going to throw the block up top. Miller's going to peek down low. Nothing to do there. He's going to have to try to build up a run here through 3 and 4.
Miller Racing Graphics 4 did not come around to just settle for 3rd or 4th. He wants the lead, and he wants that second starting spot that's on the line. We're coming down to the line. We got 4 laps left in the second heat of the night. And that 56 is not letting up.
And he is on the bumper, man. Yeah, he is on the bumper. That 31 being ultra aggressive here tonight. We got a nice battle shaping up. Fastest lap. I know, Hunter, that's your call thing. You like to stay up there, but it's 56 there. It's 37.2 that last lap. Fastest car on track. You know, one thing I'm kind of noticing that the 56 is actually doing better than the other guys, it looks like, is he gets a really strong run off the corner. Like, watch here through 3 and 4. Of course, now that I said it, I might have jinxed him, but he gets the pedal down really good and just shoots down these straightaways. He's making a move down low, it looks like, almost on the 31. A lot of momentum in that 56 car.
He's pressuring the 31 to get going as he's underneath him for the lead right now. Twynham just put up the fastest lap of the race, and the 56 going to slide up and make contact with the 31. They come off at 2. Shane Wolf with the fastest lap, but the 56 hangs on. He's going to fall back just a little bit, but the 31 of Twynham keeps the lead for now.
These cars, on edge as they are, and those two making contact, I have no clue how the 31 or the 56 for that matter were able to hang on to it, because like you said, they definitely made some contact door to door off turn 2 there. But 2 to go here. Twynham's going to have to try to hold off another attack here. The 56 is charging back to his back bumper.
That was a good corner from the 56.
Slightly harder contact there between the 31 and 56. That was Rick Ward's race.
Yeah, that's a great point too. Rick Ward is watching right there from 3rd place. He's praying these guys make some harder contact because he's looking for a good starting spot, man. He could use it for sure in that 34 car.
Riding on board of Rick Ward's machine with Rick's hot sauce. You can see the battle for the lead right up front. They were getting oh so close. That 56 is back on the bumper of the 31. Might have gone a little high off the corner, but it's still a dead heat. One more lap here in the second heat of the night, presented by Dogtopia.
Yeah, that 56, man, he's going to have to get a real good run down the back straightaway if he wants to do anything this time by. He's going a little bit higher through 1 and 2. Maybe that's going to allow him to get the throttle down sooner than the 31. 31 looked like he had a pretty smooth corner there, though. So it's going to give the 56 one last shot here as they head down into turn 3 and 4.
Looks like the 56 is going to take care of his stuff, where the 31 slides up a little bit. Here comes the 56 and Miller through turn 3 and 4 for the final time in the heat. He's going to get a run off the corner. He's going to peek down to the bottom. They're side by side. It's not going to be enough. And the 31 of Ryan Twynham is going to win the second heat, presented by Dogtopia. Wow, what a battle.
You know, I expected this heat racing to provide some excitement, but of all tracks, Homestead was not one of them. I anticipated it. Holy moly, what a heat race.
Insane racing there. Ryan Twynham wins the second heat race presented by Dogtopia. As we take a look at our finishing results, courtesy of America's Auto Auction of Western Michigan. Second place, Dawson Miller, but it was a hard charging second place finish. He was not letting that 31 get away easy. The 34, Rick Ward's going to finish 3rd. Edward Moore Sr. in the 14 is going to finish 4th. James Shane Wolf ended up finishing 5th. After barely making it into the starting grid. Jeremy Knapp got sideways on turn 4, lap 1, and settles for 6th. Then Rick Donovan Sr., Jake, your pick, finishing 7th.
Yeah, it didn't do so hot, but we got the starting lineup ready to go for the 60-lap feature event. We're going to run through here real quick, and then hopefully get a lot of your guys' picks in the chat and also in the broadcast booth and see what you guys are feeling for tonight. I think Ryan made his made his pick very clear. He went with the pole sitter, the number 40 of Matthew Robinson. Starting second, the 31 of Ryan Twynham. 3rd place, how about Jacob York in the 25 car? And Dawson Miller is going to start 4th in the number 56.
Yeah, 2 Miller Racing Graphic cars starting 3rd and 4th, but right behind those guys, starting in 5th is going to be the 37 of Cliff Mullins, and the 6th spot going to Rick Ward in the 34. Johnny Collier is going to start 7th in row 4 in the number 33 car, and then Edward Morris Sr. is going to start 8th in the 14.
Starting 9th is going to be William Lancey in the 82. James Shanewolf able to remount and start 10th here for the feature event. Justin Ledke, Jeremy Knapp, Jeremy Rickley, and Rick Donovan Sr. is going to round out our field of 14. Harold, Hunter, I want to hear what your guys' picks are. Ryan already made his claim. He's taking the 40 of Matthew Robinson. I'm going to go ahead and take the 56 of Dawson Miller. That's going to be my pick.
I'm gonna go ahead and stick with my gut. I'm going with the one of James Shane Wolf.
Okay, so we got 4 different picks in. We'll see who's right as we're waiting on some picks to come in our chat here. 60 laps for the Country Road Sports Car 60 here tonight. Pace car is in. Matthew Robinson leading the field of 14 down. Green flag is out, and we are racing here in Miami.
Boy, that 40 car got a great jump on the start. Although behind Dawson Miller seems like they're struggling to get going.
Yeah, the 40 does a good job. Matthew Robinson, I will give him a lot of credit. His starts and restarts have been very, very good so far in this series. Hunter, we made it through 1 and 2, and we know that's a normal sign. 3 and 4, however, is when we start to see things kind of shake up a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch out here because I feel like a few of these guys are going to get a little sideways here as we've seen that happen in the first and second heat.
Oh,
and it looks like it's already happening.
Oh, shit.
The 56 of Dawson Miller was spinning too, so we already have our first yellow of the night.
I got bad news for your pick, man. There's some black smoke coming from the one of James Shane.
Oh, man. Well, someone else ended up in the tire barriers. There's the 56 of Dawson Miller. I'm not sure if he hit anything or not, but we'll have to take a look at that. As the 31 of Ryan Twynham was also involved in it.
We go with the replay. This is our initial start heading down into 1 and 2. We backed it up a little bit more so we can kind of get a better idea of what's going on. But you see the 25 of Jacob York kind of sneaking through for second under the 31 of Ryan Twynham. But 56, I believe, is one of the first guys we're going to see go around here when they get down into turn 3 and 4. I also saw the number 1 of James Shanewood go around a little bit further back, so we'll keep an eye on that. But as you see getting down into turn 3, Dawson just trying to run the bottom. These tire pressures are real low still, so not all the way up. Just gets sideways. So does the 31. I missed that.
Oh, wow.
Missed the barrels, though. Not so lucky for the 31 who got stuck in the barrels. But the 56 did slide right down into pit road as we're trying to get an angle here of the number 1 of Shane. We'll see what happened to him.
I'll tell you what, guys. Just lap 1, you can go ahead and mark Shane Wolf and Twynham into the Heartbreak Hotel here at Homestead.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look here from Shane Wolf. Looks like he's getting loose as he's drifting up the track, and he just overcorrects it right in the middle of the corner. And, oh, the number 8 is Rick Donathan Sr. Just nowhere to go for him. That's an unfortunate way to start the race with a few cars smacking into the wall, hitting the barrels, sliding left of the barrels. But that's kind of what we expected on lap 1.
You know,
I'll wipe out at least 3 cars.
Comment that Twynham was another one of those guys who's out. I don't know. I think the 31, yeah, he hit the barrels pretty good, and he got stuck inside the barrels, so he had to take the tow. But I think the 31 might not be too well. I don't know. We are at a 1.5 mile track, but I think the 8 and the 1, you can definitely mark them off the list. They're probably done for the night, but I'd keep a close eye on the 31.
I'll tell you, it's a heartbreak for Shane Wolf. He missed the heat race start, had to start in the rear. He was still putting down some lightning fast laps. It's a shame he couldn't complete this one.
Yeah, and you see Shane Wolf now officially out of this one. He's done for the night in that number 1 for Samson Motorsports, but we'll see him tomorrow night in the ARCA Series live on Max Speed TV, as well as Tuesday night in the Truck Series as well for Samson Motorsports. So make sure you guys tune into Max Speed TV these next couple of nights, and you can catch a lot of these drivers. I think Shane Wolf and Robinson and William Lancia, a lot of these guys run multiple series.
I want to point out that Sebastian Taylor and Jerry Glenn aren't in this race tonight, for those just tuning in. So Matthew Robinson's the points leader. The next highest up is James Shane Wolf. He just had a sudden charge. He's 4th in the points now, but after that DNF on lap 1, the next highest up would be Jeremy Knapp. So he's currently 5th in the standings right now, and on the track, he's currently listed 7th. So this turns into what could be a big opportunity for the 20 to make up some points.
Yep, and just to add on to that, my note I had there about Ryan Twynham, he's officially out as well in that 31 car, so he's done for the night. So the pace car already got the lights off, it looks like, so he's going to make that hard left turn on the pit road. And green flag is back out already here. We kind of got surprised there by that restart, but Robinson didn't. He's on the gas pedal. He's got a big lead over the 25 of Jacob York. They're battling for third on that.
Right on board here with Matthew Robinson and the Rick's Hot Sauce on board. So he's got clear racetrack in front of him. And then they're drifting up, swapping positions left and right back there. Looks like York's going to take over the second spot. Then it's about for third between William Lancia and Cliff Mullins as they head into turn 3.
Yeah, hopefully a lot of these guys kind of take it easy here in 3 and 4. We can't have another big stack up like we had on the last start of the race. Looking like everybody did a really good job there, though. They made it through 3 and 4. I think from here on out, we shouldn't see, like I said, those fresh tires hitting turn 3 and 4 for the first time up to speed seems to be a real problem spot for these guys. Once they get, tire pressures up a little bit and get some wear on those things, they seem to be hanging on just okay.
I think this racetrack is a lot different than they had in practice as well. It's cooled off a ton.
Yeah, that's a great point, too. I think the track temp drop is going to help these guys with the grip. You see the track temp. Awesome job by Harold on the producing, man. Bringing up the track temp right down to 80 degrees, though, however. The air temp's still 77. Humidity jumped from 56, Ryan. Oh, we got one going around and 4 right in front of the 56. 84, Jeremy Rigney. No caution yet, though. No caution at all, actually, going to come out there. He went for a little spin. I think the 56 of Dawson Miller made some contact. Or maybe not, I'm not sure, but either way, 84 is around, and no caution coming out there.
How about that time on the screen? It said William Lancia was actually the fastest car on the track. That's pretty interesting. P3 here. We got to kind of... Jacob York's not letting that 40 get away from him, We'll have to see. This top 4 is kind of getting grouped together and leaving everybody else.
Yeah, that's a good point. Lancia is looking good. He's on the back bumper of the 25. That 4th place car is the 37 of Cliff Mullins, man. I talked about him in qualifying. Just, keeps getting a little bit better each and every week. Lap 8, he's already up to the 4th spot, man. That 37 is looking strong as the top 4 have checked out. Robinson kind of showing the way, though. I wouldn't be surprised if Robinson's kind of laying back to him a little bit, though, and trying to save his stuff.
Playing with him.
Right on board the bumper of Jacob York here as the 82 of Lancia getting so close to the bumper, but can't do anything quite yet. They're all just basically under a blanket here, this top 4 is. As you can see, there's the second pack in the back, and then the lone straggler in the back as well.
So I think this is good for a couple different reasons. It's going to give these guys a lot of laps. We got 60 of them we're going to have to flick off, as you see the 14 and the 56 there. 14 Ed Morris Sr. looking like he's going to get passed by the 56 Miller trying to head to the front.
Oh, there goes the 35. Justin Lemke slides to the inside wall, and he just hit hard.
Yeah, that's some significant contact. Still no caution yet. Black smoke coming out of that car, though. That's not good. Oh, that's tore up on the front end. Looking like an Eric Almirola from Darlington. Looks like that nose is under the front tires.
Giving me PTSD from lap 1 with James Shingwolf. Black smoke. Not a good look on the 35 as you'll ride on board with the 40 of Robinson here. Watch as he goes down the backstretch. You'll see that black smoke in the distance. Not real sure. Don't think it'll throw him off a little bit, but yeah.
Well, Extreme has had some incidents with that in the past, where to the point where they even added it into the rule book for last season. I believe it was a rule change. If the race admin deems you a hazard, which could be the black smoke pouring out all over the track, as you see the 35 of Lemke's actually going to bring it down the pit road, or anything of that nature, if the admin deems you a hazard like that, they can park you for the night. You don't have the right to technically stay out there like you did in the past and kind of ride around with the blown motor just trying to get your laps in. It's up to the admin's discretion, but looks like Lemke's going to go ahead and bring it into pit road anyways. I'm sure there's going to be a lengthy repair on the number 35 car.
Yeah, we stay green on the track.
I think also a couple weeks ago there was an Xfinity race, and when you have that much damage, you get one of those meatball flags that we all refer to, so those aren't ever good. I'm sure he's got one right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. So looking at this front 4, they're still kind of sticking together. I thought Robinson was laying back to York and Lancia, but I'm not so sure that's the case now because they are laying down some quick lap times. I mean, the 82 that last time by ran a 37.3. This time by ran a 37.4. So a lot of speed up there between these front 3.
82 is looking like he wants to get past the 25. I don't know if it'll happen this lap or the next, but he's hunting all over the bumper of the 25 of York. Oh, and there you'll see the 40. He's snaking down the backstretch, and that's to break up the draft.
Yeah.
Because you do run wide open at this track.
Yeah, and that's a good point with the spoilers on these late models. There's a little bit of a spoiler back there. It's going to create some draft when we go to these bigger tracks. And another thing to point out with these bigger tracks, whoa! 40 is in the wall there on the front straightaway.
Oh, did he hit the wall? I thought he was just snaking again.
No, he hit the wall a little bit that time. I mean, I don't think he killed the wall by any means, but he definitely got into it a little bit. Right side's caved in just a smidge, so the 40 definitely got into the wall.
Yeah, side-by-side battle here for a second. York's running the Larson line, and Lancia over here trying to get a run on the bottom. But it looks like that top groove's rolling in for Jacob York.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting point. I didn't know what to expect with the late models here, but I guess running the top is one thing that's a possibility at Homestead. Lancia's going to throw a slide job off the 40. Crossover back down low. I mean, does it get much better than that, especially at a 1.5 mile racetrack? These guys are actually sideways through the corner. I'm taking a look at one of the camera angles I got here of Jacob York and the 82 and the 40 especially. Oh no!
There you go. York goes into the wall. The 82 of Lancia involved. Mullen slams into him as well. The 82 is sideways down the backstretch. Watch out, everyone. Oh, and there goes the rest of the field. The 56 of Dawson Miller. The 20 of Andrew Knapp. Oh my goodness. The caution flag is out. We had about 5 or 6 cars piled up on the backstretch. And it all started with just one little tap. And it looked like the 25 of York thought he was clear from William Lancia, and that's what started it all.
That's going to eliminate quite a few there, boys.
Yeah.
That was not good.
I don't even know what to say right there. I mean, I'm kind of in shock that things just broke loose like that all of a sudden. I mean, I think the 25 of York came across the nose of the 82. I mean, we're going to take a look at the replay here. I mean, Jets just, wow. That's,
I already knew they were cutting it tight when they were at this part of the track. And yeah, that 25, he's trying to get up and get in front of the 82. Just not there. As York gets away unscathed, mostly.
The 82 got hit. If we can cut back to him, it looks like he goes side. That's by the time he had gotten hit there again. So we'll catch another replay here. See the contact between the 82 and the 25 from our blimp cam. I mean, looks like just hard racing, but yeah, the 25 definitely not clear. Came up across the nose of the 82. Contact there, right into the 37 of Cliff Mullins. And then the 82 here, sliding down the backstretch, gets the caution, and then just...
That was the 56 of Dawson Miller, nowhere to go. And the 20 of Knapp also tucked in behind him, nowhere for him to go either. You see a lot of the drivers on Pier Road. That's going to take out about maybe 2 or 3, maybe more than that.
See, this is one of those things that's just a tough deal all around because Lancia obviously wasn't his fault, right? He was hanging on the outside. The 25 came up on him and kind of triggered the whole deal. But still, when you're the 82 of Lancia and you're sliding around on the backstretch like that, it is your responsibility to try to hold the brakes and lock that car down. And that's not what he did. He, let the car roll. He didn't hit the brakes. And because of that, he slid from the top of the racetrack down to the bottom. Then he collected the 56 and the 20, which also in turn collected the 14. I mean, that's just, really an unfortunate deal that could have been resolved by just simply holding the brakes once you're kind of in trouble there.
Yeah, not really sure what was going on there. Maybe he was just in shock by the whole ordeal, as it ended up collecting a few more cars in that incident. And right now, it's Matthew Robinson, James Collier, Rick Ward Sr., at Edward Morris Sr., and Jacob York. So that collected quite a bit of the field. I'd say about half of the field was collected in that incident on the backstretch.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 33 of Collier is the only one who got through there without any contact. He's running second. I mean, third is the 34, who I think was already damaged beforehand. 14 of Edward Morris Sr. is fourth. Jacob York is back out on track in fifth, but he's got some damage to the front end of that race car, on the right front of it. I mean, actually, it doesn't look too terribly bad for the 25, but definitely not going to be able to catch the 40, I don't think, with that kind of damage. And then
the whole right side of the car is caved in.
Yeah,
I think him and Jacob Dawson Miller are actually on the same playing field. Their damage looks a lot alike here, so we'll have to see. He's pretty messed up on the right side.
Yeah, the right side. You'll see going by the right rear, especially the rear spoil of the car.
Yeah,
Damage.
that's the point. Well, actually, I mean, if I had to pick between the two, I'd rather have the damage that the 56 has, because front end damage on a bigger track like Homestead or even the super speedways, the front end damage is what really kills you. That'll slow you down quite a bit. The spoiler damage is as slight as it is on the 56, he still might have some speed. Want to update you guys also, the 25 of Jacob York was given an EOL penalty, which means the admins deemed him at fault for that incident, so he will start at the back for this restart. But man, we got a lot of cars out of the race already.
We're not even halfway through our race yet. We've seen so much carnage. There's still room for plenty of action and plenty of carnage here, but yeah, no shocker there that York gets to assess the EOL penalty. Looks like the lights are off on the pace car, so we're probably going to get green this time by.
Yep, it's going to be Matthew Robinson out up front in the number 40 car. Restarting second is going to be the 33 of Johnny Collier. The 14 of Ed Morris Sr. is actually going to restart fourth, not third. He's going to restart fourth. The 34 of Rick Ward is going to restart third. And then rounding out your top five is the 84 of Jeremy Rigney.
And it looks like Dawson Miller and Jacob York are the only other two drivers out on the track. Everybody else is in pit road or out of the race. Going to be interesting to see how this goes, because that 40 car launches on these restarts. Pace car about to pull in the pit road here, about to complete lap 19. So we still got about 40 laps left in the race. And Matthew Robinson going to lead us back under green here at Homestead.
Yeah, but
There you see on the left side of your screen there, William Lansing and Jeremy Knapp are now listed as out of the race. Cliff Mullins and Justin Lemke are still in. Through 3 and 4, we'll keep an eye out. So that 40 car is gone, and we have some pack racing in the back, but that 40 car is long gone. You see, car in the back just scraped the wall.
In there. That's the 34 Rick Ward. I was mentioning there, keep an eye on 3 and 4. A lot of these guys, just pitted and put on fresh tires, so they're having to deal with similar, handling issues that they had at the beginning of the race with those fresh tires. So looks like they made it through those. They're still sideways off of turn 2 here. 25 looks like he's going to scrape the wall there, battling with the 56 now on the bottom. Dawson Miller going to come through and take the top spot. But yeah, it looks like these cars are pretty damaged and going to have a hard time, hunting down the 40 unless he gets involved in some kind of incident as well. Other than that, I think the speed on a lot of these guys is pretty severely hurt.
Hunter, you talk about having PTSD with the black smoke earlier. I'm having flashbacks of New Hampshire last week in the truck series. Tell you what, this has been brutal. Hopefully this race gets calmed out. We finish this race with the cars we've got,
I mean,
and some of these guys running for points. I mean, Shane Wolf. I mean, if it's, I'm sure it's engine damage and internal, and he's gonna be out there a while. But somebody who may not have that much damage can probably pull back out unless they've disconnected and get a couple spots.
Yeah, I think the only ones that have disconnected are the people that are labeled out on the scoring pylon here on the left. So, Rick Sr. is still on pit road. Justin Lemke is one of those guys still on pit road. He could probably come back out and gain a handful of spots, like you said, once his damage is fixed, because he had the issue. Yeah, you see him sitting on pit road there. So keep an eye on that. That's a good point to bring up for a lot of these guys trying to make up spots in the standings and whatnot. So Robinson already 2 seconds out front of the 14 of Ed Morris Sr. But a lot of these guys we need to talk about. This is a good night for them. 14 to Ed Morris Sr. running second, man. I mean, that's a really good job by him to keep that car clean and out front and trying to hunt down the leader. Johnny Collier in third, another good run for him. So a lot of these guys having their strongest runs of the season.
Yeah, I was just about to say, neither one of these guys, Edward Morris Sr. or Johnny Collier, have a top 5 this year. Right now, both of them are running in the top 5 with the way things are played out. Seems like both of these guys are going to get top 5s. However, there's still over 35 laps left, and anything can happen, as you saw there with our most recent caution. But great runs for these guys.
Yeah, Ed Moore Sr.'s been around a long time. It's very good to see him running well here in the late model series.
Of course, he's been a regular in the ARCA series. I believe he's still running the ARCA series tomorrow night. Seen him in some truck series races before, so like you said, he's been around a while. I think he's been in Extreme almost since I was involved, 3 or 4 years ago. So good to see him running well. Like you said, Collier, one of the newer faces in Extreme Motorsports for the third place run in that 33 car. Really, really happy to see that as well. So a lot of these guys trying to make the most of the carnage and the chaos we had earlier on. As I was looking at the 33 car, I'm seeing a Dogtopia paint scheme. I know we're not seeing that one on the broadcast with a JW Racing logo on it. So I believe Collier may have gotten picked up on a team. So that's a good news, for JW Racing and for Johnny Collier. Once you kind of get on the teams in Extreme, that's when the whole league starts to feel a lot more serious and a lot more, competitive and fun, because you got, rather than running your regular series and just running for your individual championship, now you're a part of an organization with, 10, 12, 15 drivers, and you got a lot of teammates and different ideas to bounce back and forth. So I think the team side of Extreme Motorsports is what makes it super unique. And, it's cool to see Johnny Collier really jumping on board and taking advantage of that.
Hey, right behind these two guys, just lurking in the back, is Jeremy Rigney in the 84. He's basically just sitting in the catbird seat waiting for anything to happen, just riding the top groove of the track here.
Follow along with what you were saying, though, I think it's pretty cool that the team owners up in the upper series are watching this series and taking notes to see if you got somebody moving up next year from ARCA, you can just put this guy from the late model series and put him right up into your ARCA series. So good news for Collier, and I'm pretty sure Kyle Knapp has the butt kicker car or whatnot. He's affiliated with that team somehow. So, and Matthew Robinson, I think, is on a team in the ARCA series. So it's pretty cool to see them checking out what we got here on Sunday nights and getting them realigned with some upper series or whatnot.
Matthew Robinson continuing to extend his lead. It's over 3.5 seconds now. Johnny Collier scored second, followed by Edward Moore Sr. third, Jeremy Rigney fourth, Dawson Miller rounding out the top five, and the only other two cars on track, Jacob Bjork in sixth and Rick Ward Sr. in seventh. So only 7 cars in tonight, about half the field out due to our 2 cautions. Had one on lap 1, and then had one most recently around lap, I want to say 20? Or it could be 24.
About halfway through tonight's race, coming to get lap number 30 on the board, the Country Road Sports Cards 60 here tonight. A unique race that we kind of anticipated, the kind of 1.5 mile track with these late models, a different kind of setup than we're used to. We're going to get, of course, back to the short tracks next week when we head to none other than Richmond Raceway for the America's Auto Auction 100. That should be a really, really fun event.
I tell you what, I am very jealous of the format stuff of this series. Last week at New Hampshire would have been great for heat races and advancing positions to them. The little short races or whatnot. Maybe we've got a couple more guys a little bit more comfortable before that race. I'd really like to take part in one of these. I'm not exactly sure how eligible I am, but I mean,
For sure.
the big track wouldn't have been my taste in these cars. But Richmond next week, that sounds like a lot of fun.
And of course, you brought up New Hampshire. New Hampshire is actually the regular season finale for these guys, July 11th, race 10. So the playoffs, where they take the top 12 drivers and reset them, that'll be their last chance to kind of, break into the top 12 or solidify their spot into the playoffs. So that'll be an interesting one. Of course, Richmond next week, and then we're off for 2 weeks for Memorial Day, and then the following week for week 13 on iRacing. We always take that week off in Extreme just in case any updates or setups or a car or setup gets broken, which is happened in the past from iRacing where they've screwed up something in the updates and had to come in with a hot fix. So after next week's race at Richmond, a 2-week break, that's gonna give a lot of these teams and drivers a chance to reset and kind of get their heads back on straight and charge on to the second half of the regular season.
I'll point out we have a couple of Johnny Collier fans in the chat.
Oh, is that what
He's
JC
cold. He's
meant? I was wondering.
yeah.
I was wondering what JC meant.
JC Pennies. But John Collier running second right now, having his best run of the season. As we actually missed the battle for third. Jeremy Rigney's now moved up to third. Edward Moore Sr. dropping back to fourth. And then the rest of the field staying the same right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can just tell the damage is affecting a lot of these guys. I think the 56, the 25, and the 34, their cars are pretty tore up to the point where they're down on actual horsepower. Whereas the 33, the 84, and the 14, they have damage as well, but it doesn't seem to be as significant. So they're kind of in their own little group. And then you got the next three of Miller, York, and Ward. But then out front, like Harold said, with no incidents on the night, the 40 and Matthew Robinson just smooth sailing. I mean, he's coming to get 27 to go here. It's going to be a pretty easy night for the number 40 of Matthew Robinson.
I tell you what, I don't know how good our technology is on this, but if we could do this camera on the 56, you said he could be down on horsepower. I didn't see too much damage on his front end, so I'm not exactly sure what's really holding him back too much. I know he's got the right rear all tore up, but
yeah, it's got to be the spoiler. It's got to be the spoiler. I'm assuming that's worse than I thought it was. And I had said that the spoiler would probably be a better spot for damage, but I'm guessing the impact of that, of that car hitting the wall or whatever it was that he got. Oh no, he actually hit the
he hit the 82.
Yeah, the 82 is what he hit, wide open almost too on the backstretch. So, I mean, that's just one of those things too. I mentioned the 82 could have held the brakes, but thinking about it some more, the 56 and a lot of those guys who were way further back, they could have slowed up, as well, and really gotten low down to where they would have been able to avoid that. But then again, with the cautions being so inconsistent at these bigger tracks, it's a tough call to make, man. It really is.
Yeah, because earlier on, we got pit stops here. I was just about to mention the earlier incident. Matthew Robinson going to make his first pit stop of the night. 35 of Justin Lemke, he spun out and hit the backstretch wall earlier. There was no yellow for that. So really.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it's really hot or cold on these yellows because the 35 spun out wreck and there was black smoke all over the backstretch. They kept the green out and then the next incident happened.
Well, just a heads up here, the 84, the 56, and the 25 have already pitted for fuel. So they are probably good to go the rest of the way.
I think we forgot to mention these are not NASCAR pit crews on pit road.
Well, there's the 84 of Jeremy Rigney in the pit road. The 25 of... Nope, that's not the 25. The 14 of Edward Moore Sr. in the pit road as well. So, Jake, you mentioned... What drivers did you mention that pitted earlier?
The 84 was one of them, but the 56 and the 25 were the other two that have already pitted. So I had heard these guys talking about pre-race that, we start the night with 50% fuel, which I believe in these cars is about, I think, 11 gallons. Well, when you pit in the late model cars under green or under caution, instead of just filling it to 11 gallons, you can actually put in a whole 22 gallons of fuel. So if the 56 and the 25 have already made their pit stops, which they did under the latest caution, and they put in 22 gallons of fuel, they may be good the rest of the way.
Only time will tell to see if they did or didn't get enough fuel in the car.
But then the question is, can the 40 of Matthew Robinson just hunt him down? I mean, he's currently listed as, about 30 seconds,
33 seconds behind, yep.
Yeah, behind the number 56.
37-13 the last lap around. Let's see what he's got this time and compare it to the leader.
But the leader of Dawson Miller just ran a 38.14.
So Robinson,
so tires aren't falling off at all.
No, Robinson is literally a full second faster than our top two competitors.
Well, here's the thing.
Should point out, though...
22 laps to go, that means he can only make up 22 seconds, maybe let's say 25 seconds if we're on the aggressive end of things. He's 30 seconds behind, not 25 seconds behind. So if the 56 is good to go on fuel, he might have snuck one out here.
Might have. I should also point out, from the 56 of Dawson Miller, you said that it takes about a third of a gallon a lap here for burning fuel. So don't really know if he'll need to. If
you put 22 gallons in the car, you're only running a third of a gallon a lap. That's 66 laps on 22 gallons. So if he was able to put in 22 gallons of fuel on his pit stop under the latest caution, then he should be good to go the rest of the way.
There's right behind him, the 14 of Edwin Moore Sr. He already made his pit stop. Kind of just tailing the 56 of Dawson Miller. He stretched his lead out to about 3.6 seconds. But boy, Matthew Robinson making some quick work. Has already gotten it down to about 30 seconds. Whoa! Gotta watch out there. The 14 nearly came up and sideswiped our leader. Almost had PTSD of that one.
Coming down there. That might have been a little bit on the 56 too. But hey, I mean, I might be just wishful thinking here because I did pick the 56 pre-race. So just to be transparent, that is my pick. But I think he might have stole this one, Hunter. I mean, we got 20 more laps to go here, and Robinson's still 30 seconds behind. I don't know if he's going to get there. The question is the 56 good on fuel?
That is the question.
He's not gaining a second a lap, so it's going to be close, man. We all wish a new winner would be awesome, but that 40 was strong earlier. We know the damage on the 56. It's going to be a heck of a run to lap 60. That's all I got to say.
Well, another thing too, if you have a caution, I mean, this completely goes out the window. So
yes, it really does.
They can make it 18 more laps, 19 more laps under green here, but that 56 is out front, man, and you got to give him a lot of credit. Dawson Miller's been around Extreme. We talked about Ed Moore Sr. and his experience, in Extreme. I mean, Dawson Miller, he's been around in the ARCA series the last few seasons, kind of running a part-time schedule here and there. Hasn't really had a lot of great runs. He's kind of struggled a little bit to his own admission, so it'd be a really, really cool deal to see him get to victory lane. I'm sure he would be freaking ecstatic to have that happen. And then you got Jacob York right behind him in the 25 car. I mean, both these guys were involved in wrecks. Actually, they were involved in the same wreck. I believe you said it was around lap 20, Hunter. So, I mean, just what a crazy, set of circumstances here where we could have another different winner here in the late model.
Yeah, and should point out the 56 of Dawson Miller, he's been getting better every week. I mean, at the beginning of the season, he started typically towards the rear of the field, maybe mid-pack kind of guy. Now he's definitely asserted himself as one of the better mid-pack cars, but not only that, he's been getting faster and faster to being up front. And I mean, he had the speed tonight, don't get me wrong, but after his wreck there, he's still somehow found his way in the lead, trying to preserve it on fuel. So really, really good.
We saw him in the heat race tonight, Hunter. I mean, he was ultra aggressive there, racing with the who was it? Was it the
31 of Twynham?
Oh, Twynham, yeah, that's right. He was racing with Twynham, super aggressive. Those two were going at it. Twynham did an awesome job, by the way, winning the second heat of the night. And then, of course, he was involved in the lap 1 chaos with there was a couple guys that went around on lap number 1, including the one of James Shainwolf. So it's just a crazy night all the way around. But 15, 16 to go here. And, oh, man, I mean, I'm getting kind of nervous here, just wondering if he's going to be good on fuel. If he's not good on fuel, is the 25 good on fuel? A lot of different questions to wonder here as we got the last lap speeds popping up in the charts. 38.0 for the Dawson Miller number 56 machine, and then a 37.4 for Matthew Robinson. So Miller is actually kind of gaining some speed. He's gained about 2 or 3 tenths a lap.
Should point out Justin Lemke has an absolute flyer of a lap time. Down at the bottom.
21 minutes. Yeah, he's been on pit road for a little bit. We got to give Lemke some. We got to give him a pass on that one. But that is.
But him coming back out, he's gonna get a top 10 if he rides around for a little bit.
I got some bad news. He actually had just disconnected, so he's out for the night as well.
Hey, but I think the story now is not is he gonna catch him. I think the story is now does he have gas?
Absolutely.
As we mentioned earlier, if it only takes a third of a gallon a lap here, then that 56 could be cruising to an easy win. But if he's close on fuel, gotta think about Jacob York. He's about 7 seconds back. He might have been saving fuel this entire time. We never know.
Pay attention to the 56 also. It's kind of interesting. He is running as low on the track as possible. If you watch his entire lap, he's on the bottom, on the straightaway, in the corners. He's as close to the white line as he can get, which is making me a little bit even more nervous because it's kind of signaling that he's closer on fuel than he would like to be, that he's trying to conserve as much as possible. I mean, even on the apron right there.
He's almost venturing off into the lake in the infield.
I'm not sure if he's trying to let this guy behind him by or not, but
Yeah, that was an extremely slow lap there for the 56. He ran a 39.6, so almost a second and a half off pace there. I mean, that allowed Robinson to cut the gap down to 24 seconds.
Dawson is not letting that lap car get past him.
And now he goes up to the top. So I'm not really sure what the 56 is doing right at the moment, but
It's an interesting way of saving fuel, to say the least.
now he brings it back down on the bottom. Maybe he's trying to use the banking in the corners and get that nice run off. I mean, I'm not really sure there, but that is costing him lap time speed for sure. 39.7 the last lap for Dawson Miller. So is he saving fuel?
He might be, because the gap between him and York has gone down 2 seconds within the last few laps, and the Robinson's only 20 seconds behind Dawson Miller now.
An onboard shot probably could listen in to see what the deal is with the 56. Yes, he is saving fuel for sure. I'm listening in on my own. I mean, he is letting off a significant amount getting into the corner, and I mean, that's just either way now. Robinson down to 19 seconds. Miller that time at 39.8. That's probably not going to make it to the end, even, if he's good on fuel. That's just not going to be enough. I think Robinson's going to cut into that lead way too quickly.
Not only that, but Jacob York is 3.5 seconds out as well. We mentioned that the gap was growing up to 7 seconds between the 56 and the 25s. We're right on board with Jacob York right now. Could he have been saving fuel that whole time and just been letting the 56 wear stuff out?
I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, I would have, I don't know. I wish I had more answers than I do, because I would have guessed that these guys would be good on fuel as we cross the stripe here. 10 laps to go. I mean, York is still running wide open. 37.9 for the 25 there, which is actually faster than what the 56 was running when he wasn't trying to save fuel. 39.8 that last lap for Dawson Miller. So I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure if the 25 is good on fuel, if the 56 is good on fuel, but I think, Hunter, you're right. That 25 is probably going to get there here in the next few laps.
And the gap's now about 1 second between the 56 and the 25. It's less than a second. The 25 is sideways. He's spinning out on the racetrack. In turn number 4, he nearly gets sideswiped, and the caution flag is going to fly. Oh, my goodness.
He was trying to come to pit road. It looked like he was trying to get down onto the pit road right there. He checked up, tried to get down onto the apron, and just got sent right around, and he might have just costed his buddy Dawson Miller the race with that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
Yeah, the replay here looks like he started checking up in the corner to get down onto the apron. I believe this is turn 2. Yeah, so this is
turn 2.
Back stretch here. Yeah. And you'll see it. I mean, I saw him start getting on the brakes and get as low as possible. Looked like he was trying to peel off the track, and that did not work well.
I'll tell you what, man, you got to think the 56 is heartbroken. What was it, Thursday night? We had another incident with the 56. He was stretching it just as far as he could in the Cup race, man, and he had one lap and he had ran it out. And he was probably going to be down to that situation again. Hopefully he had one more lap in the tank, but them blue 56s, man, they were hoping for a good run right there.
And they're on pit road now. The 56 is in, the 25 is in. The 40 of Matthew Robinson actually stayed out there. So, I mean, of course, these guys only get one set of tires. So if he had already taken his set of tires and he's good on fuel, really no need for Matthew Robinson to come down pit road. But the 56 pitty, and I'm not sure if he's putting on a fresh set of tires or not, but that makes me wonder if he would have been good on fuel.
Yeah, right side's up on the 56.
Oh, yeah. That means he is putting on fresh tires.
Yeah. And I think the big part of this pit stop is going to be repair and damage here. They should wait as long as possible.
For sure.
And it
I would
looks like
agree,
they
especially
are.
with them being, second and third on pit road here as the pace car is entering turn number 3. If they can, well, here's the flip side of that, right? If they fix a lot of that damage and it improves the speed of the car, for one thing, the 40 of Matthew Robinson's got 30 laps on his tires, so he's already going to be off pace. When you take a look at the lap times he was running there towards the end of the run, a 37.5, 37.5, so he was about a half second off of his fast laps. If the 56 and the 25 get fixed up and get that fresh set of tires on there, it might play back into their advantage. But another thing to consider here, as I hate to just keep harping on it, The 25 brought out that caution. That's going to be his second one of the night, Ryan, and you know what goes along with that.
Oh man, that dreaded drive-through on pit road. I have had a couple of those in my extreme career. It's not fun, man. You hate doing these restarts and having to pull down pit road. It's hey,
Yeah.
don't cause too many accidents though. I've learned from it.
Well, what I'm trying to say though is that might have screwed his plans for the lead lap finish because he's going to have that drive-through penalty. I'm assuming they're going to call the caution on him. I mean, he was the guy who spun out there, but we'll have to wait and see for the official word here from the admins. But I believe it's going to be a drive-through penalty for the 25 car. But taking a look at his car, he looks a little bit, better off on the damage side of things. Right front seems to be in better shape. 56 seems to be in a little bit better shape. The 40. Just a reminder, the 40 stayed out there, and so did the 33 and the 14, as well as the 84. I believe the 84 actually got the lucky dog there. So top four are on older tires, and the 56 and the 25 are going to round out the top six. And that's your lead lap cars as we get set to restart here. We're going to have about 5 to go.
With these with the 25 having to come down pit road, I think he's safe for a lead lap as long as he don't have to stop in the box. But it's gonna be questionable. They still got six laps to go, so they should be restarting with 5.
Yeah, restart should be with about 5 laps to go. It's actually telling the 56 to line up in 4th there, so that's good news for him. They gave the 25 an EOL.
Interesting. Okay.
So
yeah, it looks like
33 of Collier right next to the 40. It should be interesting here.
JC Fan Club in the chat probably getting really excited over this. He's going to be starting second here with 5 laps to go. I believe, like I was talking about earlier, newest member of JW Racing is the 33, Johnny Collier. So he's going to be starting next to his teammate. Starting third, you're going to have Edward Morris Sr. in the 14. Dawson Miller is going to restart 4th. Starting 5th is going to be the 34 of Rick Ward. Actually, Rick Ward's 2 laps down. So 5th will be Jeremy
84 of Jeremy Rigney. Yep.
But he's getting the EOL for the lucky dog, so he'll be starting at the back with the 25 of Jacob York as well.
Should point out Rick Donathan Sr. has rejoined the track 50 laps down for one last hoorah.
Well, good for him, man. I mean, get as many laps as you can. 50 laps down. Go ahead and try to finish this race out. Might be able to pick up a couple spots here at the end. Restart coming up here, though. 5 laps to go. Pace car is in. Matthew Robinson on the gas pedal. Green flag is out. We're going to get down to business here in Miami. Yeah, that means he probably got the drive. Yeah, he just got the black flag from the admin, so the 25 is going to have to serve a drive-through penalty. Probably was trying to do it on the restart there, but they told him he can't do it. Jump back up. He's going to have to serve it under green, but the 56 has got to run on the 40 here, boys.
Yeah, 56 car flying. He put on a new set of tires. That caution might have helped him out for the best. He's sliding up the track, but he's got those new tires to work with. As they come off of turn number 4, Matthew Robinson is going to get the 4 to go here. Can he hold off that 56 of Dawson Miller?
Johnny Collier back to 3rd for JW Racing, and rounding out your little group of, the top 4 here is going to be Ed Morris Sr. in the 14. Looks like Matthew Robinson starting to pull away slightly there on the 56. They ran about even lap times right there on the last lap. I think the 40 is going to get the best of the 56 here on this one.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate set of circumstances. If Jacob York did not cause that last caution, what would we be at right now? Would we be at the 56 running out of fuel, the 25 running out of fuel, or would Robinson be in the lead anyway?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a great question. I would have loved to have seen it end like that and seen what would have happened. It would have been pretty drama-filled, to say the least. Robinson now kind of stretching out the lead to 7/10 of a second. Got a battle almost forming up for 3rd. Looks like Ed Morris Sr. is looking on the back bumper of Johnny Collier. Those two are going to be battling back and forth here as we enter turn 3 and 4. This time by, the leader of Matthew Robinson is going to get 2 to go in the Country Road Sports Card 60.
Also point out the 33 of Collier and the 14 of Morris Sr. Neither one of these guys have a top 5. So right now where they're running, it's the best, looking to be the best finish of their season so far.
Also throw Dawson Miller in that mix as well. As
the white flag here, boys.
Best finish of the season as well. Now this is 2 to go here. We're coming to get the white flag this time around.
That battle for third is heating up. Those two are looking like they're going to catch the 56 of Dawson Miller. We might have a 3-car battle for second here. But up front, it's all. I'll say up front, it's all for the 40 car. Matthew Robinson, Miller's going to look up high, try to get some sort of a run. The white flag's in the air one more time around Homestead.
We're battling for second. Collier making the move on the 56 down into turn 1, looking for a JW Racing 1 and 2 here tonight in Homestead. He's going to clear the 56. Now Ed Morris Sr. is going to get under the 56. Side by side off the turn 2 for third place. Out front, though, it's Matthew Robinson showing the way.
A race for second.
Robinson is showing the way. The race for second is heating up as they're going through turn 3 and 4 for the final time. Matthew Robinson in the Dogtopia number 40 is going to come off of turn 4. He's going to continue to dominate the Rick's Hot Sauce Late Model Series and win at Homestead-Miami.
They settled it out back there for second. It's going to go to the 33 of Johnny Collier. Morris gets by for third. Miller coming home fourth, and Jeremy Rigney rounding out your top 5 here tonight. Matthew Robinson picks up his second win of the season.
Here's our finishing results, brought to you by America's Auto Auction of Western Michigan. Matthew Robinson, once again, just tearing up the Rick's Hot Sauce Late Model Series, winning at Homestead, absolutely dominant fashion. Johnny Collier snuck by with second, Edward Morris Sr. third, Dawson Miller, heartbreaker for him, falling back to fourth. Jeremy Rigney's going to come home with a top 5. Jacob York going to come home 6th on the lead lap. Rick Ward Sr. 7th, Cliff Mullins 8th, William Lansdale 9th, and Jeremy Knapp 10th. Half the field getting involved, more than half the field I should say, getting involved in accidents today, but nothing you can do there. The number 8 of Rick Donathan Sr. going to come home 11th.
The front stretch. We got a teammate burnout going on right now on the front straightaway. Did you see the final results there? The 33 of Johnny Collier and the 40, they're trying to burn it down. It's not really working quite well yet. Looks more like a tug of war. There we go. We got the smoke coming from 33. 40, though, not looking so hot so far.
What do you mean he's not looking hot? He's red hot this season. What is this? Win number 2 on the year?
Yeah, win number 2 on the year. He's already the points leader heading into the night.
Gonna have a huge gap.
It's here at Homestead. Normally you see this on championship weekend for the race winner and the championship winner. Could this be a sign of things to come?
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. That 40's looking good, though. That's for sure. I'm sure we'll see him at the season finale when we get back to USA to wrap things up for the late model series. But he's going to go ahead and park it here on the front stretch. Let's bring him up into the booth here. The number 40 of Matthew Robinson getting it done here tonight at Homestead. Matthew, man, congratulations. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, you had to fight it out there at the end. I wasn't quite sure if you were going to end up third, if the 56 was good on fuel, or what that whole situation was. But you get the lucky caution there at the end, and then you just flat out outdrive the rest of the field. You get your second win of the season, man. How you feel?
Yeah, good to get another win, man. I feel like a couple of them got away from me, but you know that's the racing, man, strategy and everything. But today played out to our favor. Yeah, it was. I wasn't sure what they were doing. I didn't know if they could make it or not. But all I could do was just drive it hard as I could and try to catch them.
You did a really good job kind of controlling things in the early part of the race. Then you came down and pitted about halfway through, like you said, and then the race kind of played back into your hands. Did an awesome job with the strategy. I'm sure your team owner, Justin Radout's real happy. Is there any special shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Dogtopia, JW Racing, and Justin Rideout. He's always up there with me, and this week we brought on Johnny Collier, so we got a 1-2 finish for the team, which is pretty cool. We worked with him all week, and he fought it out right there with Dawson on the last couple laps. So that was pretty awesome to get a 1-2. I'd like to thank Exceptional Wildlife Removal, Track Racer. You can put JW Racing in as a promo code for anything on Track Racer's website for 5% off. Grip Engineering, Rick's Hot Sauce, and I'd like to thank y'all for broadcasting tonight.
Absolutely, man. Well, that was a fun one to watch. Again, congratulations. We're going to let you go down and celebrate with the rest of your team, man.
All right, man. Thank you.
So that was the number 40 of Matthew Robinson getting it done here at Homestead. Ryan, that was quite the exciting show, man.
Dude, I'll tell you what, this race right here was just enough to get me fired up for this week of Extreme. I had a very good time sitting here and watching this with you guys. Congrats out there to JW Racing and Matthew Robinson. Another dominant performance. I'm going to continue to watch. It's been an awesome night. It's fired me up for sure.
Absolutely, man. Looking forward to tomorrow night's race. Again, we're going to have to send it over to our friends at Max Speed TV and Joshua Medlock. He'll be covering the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Doug Design ARCA Series live from Indianapolis Motor Speedway tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Got 80 laps scheduled for the ARCA boys tomorrow night. That's going to be a good one. Looking forward to it. And for our producer, Harold, thank you, Ryan, for joining us up here in the booth tonight, and for Hunter as well. And thank you to everybody in chat and tuning in here on our Twitch channel, Extreme Motorsports. Make sure to follow along so you can catch us this Friday for another episode of Fuel Fridays. And we'll be back next week on Sunday night for the sixth race of the season in the Rick's Hot Sauce Late Model Series at none other than Richmond Raceway. So we'll see you guys back next week, and thanks for following along.
What an exciting race brought to you by Wendigo Studios. Here they come out of turn 4 to the white flag, and it's 1 to go. Thank you to all our sponsors, drivers, and viewers. We'll see you at the next turn.